Good evening, and welcome to the Montgomery County Legislative Chambers. I'd like to call to order the notice of public hearing on the submission of a community block development block grant application for the 2026 program year. Is there anybody here who has any comment on that or any input? Hearing none, the public hearing is adjourned at 5:56. I might put off the proclamation. Good evening and welcome to the May meeting of the Montgomery County Legislature. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Legislator Elwood.
Here.
Legislator Sweet.
Here.
Legislator Muhlebeck. Legislator Headwell. Legislator Fiorello.
Here.
Legislator Majewski.
Here.
Chair Pep.
Present.
Legislator Kowalczyk.
Here.
Legislator Pollock.
Present.
Okay. Sheriff Smith, could you please lead us in our pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing as we recognize those who have passed on since our last meeting. Donald Pops Perlman of Amsterdam passed away on April the 29th. He enlisted in the United States Army, where he served proudly until his honorable discharge. David C. Van Warmer passed away on May 11th. David was employed by the Montgomery County Department of Social Services during his career. Stephen L. Lazinas of Amsterdam passed away on May 4th. He was a 4-year member of the Army National Guard. Joseph L. Harkins of Amsterdam passed away on May the 15th. He served in the United States Army from 1950 through 1952. Constance Riccio of Amsterdam passed away on May the 6th. She was a caseworker for Adult Protective Services of Montgomery County. Casimir A. Wavers of Amsterdam passed away on May the 23rd. He enlisted in the United States Navy, proudly served from 1944 through 1947. Francis E. Pieniazek of Hegeman passed away on May the 20th. He served in the Air National Guard from 1965 through 1971. Fran was the first civilian dispatcher for the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department. And John A. Brookman of Fultonville passed away on May the 18th. He served in the United States Marine Corps from 1952 through 1954. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, is there anybody in the audience who would like to make public comment? Sure. Please step to the podium and state your name and what's on your mind.
My name is Ray Dykeman. I'm a dairy farmer in the town of Glen. And I'm here to talk about the appeals that have been presented on against the town of Glen. The town of Glen has filed suit, and the county has filed suit, and the farmland has filed suit. And I thought I'd come here today to explain to you what it's like to be a farmer in this town, this county, in New York State, and things like that, after a recent landowner meeting. And one thing I can promise you, the last place a farmer wants to be is in front of this microphone. So if I sound a little bit nervous, I am nervous, and I will try to do my best. But I wanted to, after our last landowner meeting, I had an elderly lady come up to me and say, Ray, will you start standing up to some of the things that are being said that aren't true? And I said, you know what, you pose a couple questions for me, and I will do my best to represent the landowners that are involved in this thing. And so a couple of the questions that they asked me, and I'm just posing them to you, was they want to know who actually owns the land. Do they really own the land? That the county is deciding what they feel is the best to do with it? Or does the county own the land? And you don't have to answer these questions, but I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts may be in the future. They also were wondering how you would feel someday if the county was going to decide what to do with your property and your house and what you could sell it for and use it for. They didn't think it was very fair, and how would you like it to be treated like that? And as taxpayers themselves, and I'm not sure what we pay as far as the project goes, but would we be allowed to use the money that we put into the county to countersue all three of those groups? It seems only fair that we'd be able to do something like that when they're using our money right now to stop us from making a livelihood by doing these projects. And it's funny how, to me, everyone is in favor of agriculture now all of a sudden, when countless times when we're going down the road with equipment or manure tanks or whatever the case may be, we seem to get the finger a lot. It happens time and time again. Numerous times this year it's already happened. I'm sure Mr. Smith could attest to how many times, and between the sheriff's department and the troopers, we get called because we get mud on the road. How many times because they don't like manure spreading? How many times they don't like big equipment going down the road? Some of the frustrations are immense in this business that I do. And nobody asks what we're doing. Why am I doing this? Well, we had one doctor's wife in the area that once went by my farm and basically put on Facebook how I treated my animals absolutely horribly. Didn't like the way I farmed it. When my baby calves are separated in hutches 6 feet apart. That's because we knew about COVID before humans knew about COVID. There's a reason calves are raised that way. But rather than coming and finding out the truth, they post nonsense all over Facebook so everybody can get their chance to comment about what I do for a living. Meanwhile, the people that raise my calves speak at conferences all over the Northeast because they're the best at what they do, and they get to go to conferences and speak about it. But I get trashed out on Facebook because people don't know what they're talking about. One person from the Glen Farmland Group actually said that she would rather see us go broke than put farm panels in. I really think that's a pretty classy thing to say. And just so you know, I would never wish that on any of you. Never. And maybe you don't remember, but cows are a big problem with global warming. Aren't we concerned about that anymore? Now that we're worried about solar panels? These are the things that I have to face on a daily basis. Even had the local FFA, Future Farmers of America, do a presentation on how bad cows were for the environment. I mean, this is just getting one thing after another for me in this industry. I do not want my grandchildren to do this anymore. I'm tired of it, and it's just the way it's going to go. Maybe you haven't seen the movies that are out now. They want to eliminate animal agriculture. It's time and time again what's happening to us in this industry. And we're all doing this at no profit. If you Google what the average rate of return on investment for a dairy farm in this state, it's 0% return on investment. The top 130 farms in the state might get somewhere between 2 and 7% return. The only ones that are making money are the ones out western New York that are able to get between 3,000 and 5,000 cows. Nobody is making money in this industry. And if you want to come up to the farm, and if anything I say on here today that you don't feel is accurate, instead of putting it on Facebook, maybe you could come and have a sit down with me and we'll do a little chit chat together. And if I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong. Some questions maybe you could have asked me is, Ray, how's the marketing of your milk going right now? Well, it's absolutely awful. If I can't find a home for my milk, I have to dump it. That's because we make too much milk in this state. We need electricity. We don't need milk. It's simple economics. We're making too much milk. And it's not the way I wanted it to go. These are just simple facts. How's the trucking business going? Well, I had to start my own trucking business because the people that were trucking my milk anymore didn't want to do it anymore in this state. So I had to buy my own trucking business. I don't want to do this stuff, but I have to do it. How's the labor situation going? Well, it's awful. I can't get people to work anymore, but I do hire immigrant laborers. Oh, that's right. You don't like my immigrant laborers. You want to send them back home. These are the things that I'm faced with every day. How's the milk price? It's absolutely awful. There's nobody making money, and my expenses keep going higher. In fact, to the extent taxes went up $20,000 last year between school taxes and land taxes. Meanwhile, I'm getting kicked in the butt trying to make a living, trying to make ends meet. I can't raise my prices. I'm a price taker. I can't dictate my price. So I have to take whatever I can get. If I can't find a home for it, I have to dump it. You want to talk about prime ag land. If this is prime ag land, the only people that say that are people that have never worked this property. I make it work. I have to spend more in commercial fertilizers than my counterparts out in western New York, and they still get 5 more ton per acre in corn than I get. And it's the same thing with hay. It's the same thing with every year. In a wet year like last year, it was an absolute disaster. We got 10 ton of corn per acre. It's not an easy way to life. And I'm tired of looking at the stuff that's on Facebook that is simply, most of it, not true. Maybe some stats that you should ponder. New York State has lost on average 380 dairy farms per year over the last 5 years. That's not going to stop happening. There's about 75 farms per day that go out in the United States. Farm bankruptcies are up 55% last year and trending higher this year. Suicide rates are climbing in our industry. The return on investment is absolutely pathetic, and that's why these farms are going out of business. Now, some of these farms can use these solar panels as a supplement to their dairy, if they so choose, and maybe they could stay in business and preserve the land. I would much rather see solar panels on the land than I would see these business parks that forever is going to put them away. There's no poisons coming off these solar panels or anything like that. If you want to debate that, I've done extensive research on this before I even decided to go this route. But I'm asking you that we don't make this a one-sided event. I have remained silent, and I am going to continue to come to these meetings, and I will bring some of these people that are remaining silent because they're too afraid to speak. I will come here and I will stand with them, beside them, and until they can't speak anymore, and I will help them with their questions because I'm tired of seeing the nonsense on Facebook. I had to have Senator, I think it's Senator Fahey in, and I had to explain to her the truth at my farm of some of the things that's happening with the stuff that she sent to the governor. And she sat down and she said, I'm understanding a little bit better now. But let's make this a two-sided conversation and get the landowners involved with the conversation. If you think I wanted to do this, I did not want to do it. I am in favor of doing it now. I don't want my son and I don't want my grandchildren to continue in this industry anymore. And none of you would do it either. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dyckman. Is there anyone else who would like to make public comment? Yeah, go ahead. Hello, Coach.
Hey, how you doing?
If you stand right there for a second.
Once they have a
Yeah, once they all come in. all of you could please come on up here.
They just got in there.
Well, they got past the,
Hey, how are you? I'm good, how are you?
Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, this is the Amsterdam High School basketball team. And they achieved some great things this year. We tried to get them in here in April, but our meeting was the same night as their banquet. So I know this is a little after the fact, but certainly not without the luster that they deserve. We have a county proclamation here. Whereas the County of Montgomery is proud to recognize outstanding achievements by young people in our community, and it is with great pride that we honor the Amsterdam High School boys basketball team for an extraordinary and historic season. And whereas the Amsterdam Rams demonstrated exceptional teamwork, dedication, perseverance, and school pride throughout the 2025-26 basketball season, earning recognition as the undefeated Foothills Council champions, and establishing themselves as one of the premier teams in New York State. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And whereas building upon their remarkable regular season success, the Rams continued their historic postseason run by earning a spot in the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Class AA State Championship for the first time in more than 3 decades. And whereas the Rams secured their place in the state championship game with an impressive semifinal victory over Section 1 champion Rye, extending an extraordinary winning streak and finishing the season with an outstanding 23-2 overall record. And whereas, although the team fell short in the championship game against Section 5 champion Enfield, their incredible accomplishments brought tremendous pride and excitement to the Amsterdam community, inspired future generations of student athletes, and secured their place in Amsterdam High School basketball history. And whereas the success of the Amsterdam Rams reflects not only the hard work and determination of the players and coaching staff, but also the unwavering support of their families, school administration, and the greater community that stood behind them throughout their memorable season. Now therefore, be it resolved, County Executive Peter Vroman, Legislative Chairman Michael J. Pepp, District 5 Legislator A.J. Fiorello, District 6 Legislator Chad Majewski, District 8 Legislator Maria Kowalczyk, and District 9 Legislator Michelle Pollack, all of whom represent a portion of the city and portions of the town of Florida, where Amsterdam students also come from. On behalf of the Montgomery County Legislature, hereby proclaim Tuesday, May 26, 2026, as an official date in Montgomery County to congratulate the Amsterdam High School boys basketball team on their historic 2025-26 season and commend them for their dedication, teamwork, sportsmanship, and outstanding representation of the city of Amsterdam and Montgomery County as a whole. So, Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
And AJ, Chad, Maria.
You gotta file in, so some people might want, so I should get everybody.
You die. Yeah, you might die. I will. I'm gonna go right behind Coach.
You sit back there. Okay, ready? I think I can see everyone. Look, you was up, perfect, don't move. Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Go Rams.
Go Rams. No, I say something. Good.
Yes, all right.
Yeah, I mean, one, very well written. I didn't write this, so thank you for that.
You can thank Chad G.
Yes. You know, This is a season that honestly, the wins and losses, where we were able to take this team was exceptional, but in 20 years, we're going to talk about the relationships we developed within each other, the stories that we had to build up to what ended up being, the finals. And, they have a bond that will be forged forever. So we greatly appreciate, being represented and being a part of this, county and being able to represent Amsterdam the way we were able to. This was a full 11 guys that came to practice, were willing to pay their dues to make each other better. So thank you all so much.
And I would like to say that the team brought the community together, and that was probably one of the biggest impacts. So I don't think you guys know what you did to your own community and your city, the town, and Montgomery County in general. So you should all be very proud of yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Now fill out your life card stuff so we can work. Yes. No, half of them are. Half of them are life card stuff with you.
Thank you so much.
Good job. You too. Thank you. Bye. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, get ready for lifeguarding now, okay?
See you on the golf course.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right, clerk, are there any communications to be shared?
No, Chair, there's not.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion from the floor for the approval of the minutes? Legislators Majewski and Kowalczyk, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Okay, a motion for the acceptance of the budgetary transfers, please.
I'll make a motion.
Legislators Fiorello and Majewski, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
And an acceptance of the procurement record, please. Legislator Kowalczyk and Majewski. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Is there any old business anybody would like to discuss before we get into the resolutions? Hearing none, on with the resolutions. Our first resolution, 130, amending the 2026 operating budget, mandated salary adjustment for the district attorney. Sponsors were legislators Pep and Kowalczyk. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 131, authorizing the reclassification of the Human Resources Labor Relation Assistant position to Human Resources Labor Relations Specialist. Sponsors were legislators Sweet and Majewski. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 132, authorizing a renewal agreement with Marshall and Sterling for brokerage services. Sponsors were legislators Majewski and Paulick. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 133, adopting introductory local law E, local law 5 of 2026, a local law establishing compensation for district attorney. Sponsors were legislators Pep and Kowalczyk. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 134, amending the 2026 operating budget for the Office of District Attorney and requesting funding to reestablish the position of Assistant District Attorney. Sponsors were legislators Sweet and Kowalczyk. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 135, authorizing the county executive to sign intergovernmental agreement with the New York State Office of Information Technology Services. Sponsors were legislators Muehlbeck and Sweet. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 136, authorizing the Department of Social Services to enter into a cooperative agreement with the Department of Public Works. Sponsors were legislators Majewski and Pep. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Mike, can you wait a second? I've got a computer problem. That was 136.
Yes.
Fine.
Good?
It passed, yes.
Okay. Resolution 137, authorizing the allocation of Jewel settlement funds to Kanjahari Central School District. Sponsors were legislators Elwood and Pollock. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 138, authorizing the implementation of opiate settlement, opiate abatement program funding and contract in the OESJ School District. Sponsors were legislators Majewski and Pollock. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 139, authorizing the Montgomery County Health Department to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Village of Fort Plain for community health programming and events. Sponsors were legislators Sweet and Pollock. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 140, amending the 2026 operating budget, motor vehicle equipment. Sponsors were legislators Pep and Elwood. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 141, authorizing the county executive to enter into contracts with school districts for school resource officer positions. Sponsors were legislators Sweet and Pollock. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 142, amending the 2026 operating budget, SAM Grant, State and Municipal Facilities Program. Sponsors were legislators Elwood and Majewski. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 143, amending the 2026 operating budget for K-9 for the sheriff. Sponsors were legislators Sweet and Mulebeck. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 144, amending the 2026 operating budget with forfeiture money. Sponsors were legislators Kowalczyk and Pollock. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 145, amending the 2026 operating budget for the public defender. Sponsors were legislators Majewski and Peck. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 146, amending the department budget of the public defender. Sponsors were legislators Mulebeck and Majewski. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 147, amending the 2026 operating budget, alternatives to incarceration mandated program. Sponsors were legislators Elwood and Kowalczyk. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 148, authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement for bridge repair on the Canalway Trail and amend the 2026 operating budget. Sponsors were legislators Sweet and Pollock. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 149, amending the 2026 operating budget, insurance recovery funds. Sponsors were legislators Kowalczyk and Majewski. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 150, authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with KB Group of New York Incorporated, DBA Prime AE Group, for the engineering, administration, coordination of services, and on-site inspection for the replacement of the generator located at the Fort Plain Pump Station. Sponsors were legislators Sweet and Majewski. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 151, accepting grant for county infrastructure grant program, New York State Empire State Development Office. amending the 2026 operating budget. Sponsors were legislators Muehlbeck and Pep. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I abstain. Abstain as well.
Passed.
City.
Okay. Thank you. Resolution 152, appointing member to the Montgomery County Industrial Development Agency and Capital Resource Corporation. Sponsors were legislators Pep and Kowalczyk. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 153, adopting introductory local law D, local law 4 of 2026, a local law granting an easement to the Niagara Mohawk Power Corporation and Citizens Telecommunications of New York, DBA Frontier Communications of New York. Sponsors were legislators Majewski and Pep. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 154, authorizing the county executive to sign contract for flood insurance. Sponsors were legislators Muehlbeck and Majewski. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 155, confirming appointment term of representative to the Fulton Montgomery and Schoharie County Workforce Development Board. Sponsors were legislators Majewski and Kowalczyk. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 156, authorizing the county executive to enter into a contract with Hop Docks. Sponsors were legislators Pep and Muehlbeck. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 157, approving the standard workday and retirement reporting for elected and appointed officials. Sponsors were legislators Kowalczyk and Pollock. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Resolution 158, authorizing the county treasurer to disperse mortgage tax money. Sponsors were legislators Muehlbeck and Kowalczyk. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
And our final resolution, 159, approving the abstract of audited claims. Sponsors were legislators Kowalczyk and Pep. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Passed.
Is there anything anybody else would like to discuss before we close out the meeting?
Sure.
Yes, Legislator Sweet.
How are we trending on sales tax? Have you heard anything?
Did you see the last report?
I did not.
It was sent to us by email on May 20th, the dashboard report. And to be honest with you, Legislator Sweet, we're running behind on sales tax.
On the 20th?
Yeah. That's okay. Year-to-date through April 30th, we were at 6.492 million. Prior year-to-date, we were 7.9 million. So we're about $1.5 million below pace from last year on our $45 million goal this year.
Mhm.
So that is a little discouraging and a little alarming, especially, you know, I say through April, I think, you know, obviously one of our biggest contributors to the sales tax is gas. You know, we all know that because of our, what do we have, 3 rest areas on where we can get gas in Montgomery County and on the thruway. And I mean, the price of gas started to go up in, it was March, correct?
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, we got probably 30 to 45 days of higher gross handle because of the increase, you know, in the price of gas, which you would think would also, you know, cause the tax handle to increase proportionally. So But other than that, without Sean here, I don't know what's contributing to the slower pace. So I think we should, vet that out a little bit more by next month.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because there are some things that we, certainly predicated our budget on, at least staying level with our sales tax at 45 million. So it's, we gotta keep an eye on it. Any other items for discussion? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Legislators Kowalczyk and Pollock. Meeting is adjourned at 6:35. Thank you.